Clark, this is a felony file 242114FY. I'm going to read it to you.
Your Honor,
Okay.
Jordan Safey on behalf of Mr. Clark. We did review the charging document and waive a formal reading. At this time, Mr. Clark just asked the matter to be set for prelim and probable cause. He was screened for court-appointed attorney and does qualify.
Okay. So you will have the offender as your attorney for the remainder of this case. Your bond was set in the amount of $2,000 as cash or surety. I already have next court dates. May 30th is your probable cause conference. You have a preliminary hearing on June 5th in courtroom A in front of Judge Scotchless. You will get copies of those dates and times. You must show up for those dates and times.
Yes, sir. I'm currently residing in your Allegan County Jail for 300 days right now. Started yesterday.
Okay. Well, you'll be getting credit on this since you have cash surety bond. You're all set.
Okay, thank you,
Thank
sir.
Harwood will not be able to join us.
Okay. Good afternoon, your name?
My name is Saiwatan Kyomakun.
This is a misdemeanor file 241334ST. I'm going to read it to you.
Your Honor, Jordan Safey on behalf of Mr. Kiyomakun. We did review the charging document and waive a formal reading. At this time, Mr. Kiyomakun wishes to enter a plea of guilty.
Okay. Sir, has anybody forced you or threatened you to make you plead guilty on this charge?
No,
Charges. Are you pleading guilty to this because you believe you are guilty of this?
yes,
Were you operating a motor vehicle here in Allegan County on the date and time of April 3rd this year?
yes,
And at that time, did the Secretary of State have you as either suspended or revoked?
yes,
And was there an open container of alcohol somewhere in the passenger compartment of that vehicle with you?
yes,
That you were aware of?
yes,
All right. So I do find that that is a factual basis to accept your plea and that your plea is knowing and voluntary. It would just be fines the cost at this point. The driving with license suspended is a $250 fine. With that, a statutory cost of $200. Crime victims' rights fee of $75, a state cost of $50, and you have one $75 bench warrant. So that's a total of $650. I'm going to put right on here that you have 90 days to pay that. If you need more time than that, that's okay, but you'd have to make arrangements with the court. And on the open intoxicant in a motor vehicle, on that one, that is fines and costs totaling $195. Again, I'm going to give you 90 days to pay that. Same thing, if you need more time to pay that, that's fine, but you'd have to call the court and ask for more time, all right?
okay.
With that, sir, you are all set. Oh, I'm sorry, you do also have a bench warrant on the intoxicant by motor vehicle too, so in the motor vehicle, so I will give you a new total. That's 270. With that, you're all set, sir.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, your name?
Patrick Moore.
More, this is a misdemeanor file 241123ST. I'm going to read it to you.
Your Honor, Jordan Safey on behalf of Mr. Moore, for purpose of arraignment, we did review the charging document and waive a formal reading. At this time, Mr. Moore wishes to enter a not guilty plea and have the matter set for pretrial and trial. He was screened for court-appointed attorney and does qualify.
Okay. So, sir, you will have the public defender as your attorney on this matter. Sir, as far as bond goes, these are usually always PR bonds. But you have missed the court date now 2 different times.
Your
Are you
Honor,
asking for me to reinstate PR bond or just leave it the way it is?
at this time, we just ask that it be kept as a cash surety. I believe it does have another bond on another case.
All right. So, sir, that is no driving without a valid driver's license. Do you understand and agree to that?
Yes.
So the public defender will be representing you on this matter. You do have another, or will have another court date set on this in courtroom A in front of Judge Scotchless. We'll get copies of those dates and times. You must show up for those dates and times. You're all set, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I need my Zoom still up, but not my videos.
All right. Just have a seat.
I knew that, I knew Harwood was gonna be mad. I didn't know he was so mad he wanted to come today.
So, what do you do?
Called up the weed shop here and said he was gonna come down there and blow everybody's head away, chop off their heads and bury them in the woods or something like that. I think it's called that. So,
Wow. I
and,
bet she doesn't work there anymore.
and he was, this is salacious gossip, but he was one of the couple of people they've interviewed time and time again over what happened to Richie
Green.
Hitchcock,
Oh,
because
Hitchcock?
they think he did somewhere.
Having
So-
to do with
so-
Richie Green.
Oh, yeah, but
Yeah.
saying that shit was way too close to what I know I've interviewed
Wow.
him about, and I'm like, dude, you can't act like this. I'm putting together
I
like a
can't
$50,000 bond.
That nobody has come forward with anything on that.
Yeah.
But it sounds like there's a couple of people that they thought were involved now.
Yeah. So, for some others.
And, well, and there was a guy too, and I almost feel like, well, Richie Green, I think is gone too, isn't he? And
Yeah, I can't
there
remember
was,
the other guy's
wasn't there
name.
another guy?
I remember if I saw his name, I'd say, oh yeah, that's him,
Kelly would know, Kelly
because they were always interviewing
knows all
him
these,
too.
yeah. It's like,
He
it's
was
just
really
kind of bizarre, yeah.
Yeah, I just wondered how far you guys get, but you already have the. Yeah, well, I'm just, I All right, gentlemen. This is file 2400696SC. Mr. Krepis is here, Mr. DeVos is here. Gentlemen, we're here in small claims. What small claims means is that we are here trying to do this without attorneys. So you have given up your right to use an attorney for this. It's also not having a jury trial. You're asking for this to be decided right here in front of me. So the first thing first is if both of you are ready and willing to proceed here in small claims without utilizing an attorney or a jury, I'm going to swear you both in. Please raise your right hands. Swear or affirm anything you testify to here would be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
All right. Gentlemen, how is it that you know each other?
Through a, go ahead, John.
A friend through a friend of a friend, Bryce.
All right. And do you both work on cars?
Um,
I
Go ahead, John. Go ahead, John. You go ahead first.
I am a certified diesel technician.
And I'm a real
so-
estate. I'm sorry. I'm a real estate agent and a professional pilot.
So the original, I have very little information here ahead of time on these. So the original situation is that defendant is going to essentially take an engine out of plaintiff's vehicle, keep that for themselves for whatever purposes they're going to use that for, in exchange for the value of those parts that came out of plaintiff's vehicle. Mr. DeVos was also going to rebuild two different differentials. So essentially you were trading parts for labor, let's call it. That was the original agreement?
Yes, sir.
All right. And so, Mr. DeVos, did you actually get your engine?
I did, Your Honor.
You have
I'm sorry.
You have it. There's also something here that the transmission and the air induction system were not part of this exchange. Is that your understanding?
That was a misunderstanding. When it was brought to my attention that the transmission and the air induction system were not part of the deal, I'm more than willing try to give back the transmission and the cold air intake to Mr. Crepes. I'm sorry if I'm slaughtering your last name, sir.
Okay.
So you were looking to keep the engine, thought the other two were sort of part of it when you offered those back.
Yes, sir. Or yes, Your Honor.
Did you consider the parts that you were getting to be a fair and equal trade for how much labor you expected it to take you to rebuild two differentials?
I would say so, Your Honor. I did actually shop around and get a couple of quotes from local shops for rebuilding differentials.
All right. And then you did, and then as far as the two differentials, what, if anything, did you do in terms of them?
So with re-gearing the differential, you remove the ring and pinion gears and the bearings, and then you install the new ones, and then you have to set it to spec, and then that's basically it, Your Honor.
All right. And so you did or did not do that for two different differentials?
I was only able to do one because I was only given one at a time. I received the engine November 9th, or I'm sorry, November 14th. I received the engine, and then I didn't get the axles, or at least the front axle and the parts to go with it until January 5th.
All right. So you got the one differential, you do work on it. What's the status of that?
I rebuilt it. It took me roughly 28 days of working on the axle. I got the spec and everything like that. I made sure to follow all the instructions that is given with the kit, plus my mechanical experience. Got it to spec, and then even went around the ring gear and with paint marker, where it was measured for the backlash, I wrote in paint marker what the measurement was.
Okay. I understand you said a lot of things. I don't even need to know what those things mean.
I'm sorry.
Was that differential in working order when you rebuilt it?
Yes, when it left my garage, it was in working order.
All right. And you never received a second one to work on?
No.
All right. And so I'm going to switch to Mr. Krepas for us a minute here. I understand what you're saying. You didn't think he was going to take transmission and air induction system. And then he said, oh, okay, that's a misunderstanding. I'll give those back. You didn't want to take them back?
I did not realize that he actually took those parts, which actually I believe includes my radiator as well as is missing from the vehicle. They came out, the person that put us into contact with each other, Bryce, came out November 9th to pick up the Jeep because Mr. DeVos's engine had failed in his Jeep, and it was his daily driver. So I had my Jeep engine was available because mine was totaled in a unfortunate accident. But the
Okay,
driver,
Mr. Krepas, you're telling me a lot of stuff, but that's not an answer to my question. So my
Okay.
answer to my question was, once he said he realized, oh, that wasn't part of the arrangement, he said he offered to give those back. You didn't want to take them back?
No, it was a part of the original agreement that he would give those back, but we had the engine was still in question as to what we were going to do for that because he did not, the differential was not in working order when it was delivered to me. He actually had to come back out to fix an air leak in there, and then it was not properly rebuilt.
All right. So here's my situation with your view of things, Mr.
Okay.
Krepas. You said, look, I thought I was just trading A for B, right? An engine for labor on two differentials. It ends up that he took A, B, and C. But when he realized it was really only supposed to be B or A, he said, oh, I'll give you B and C back. And then as far as what he was supposed to do for you, rebuild two differentials, he did rebuild one, and he's telling me he was never given a second one to work on.
Yeah, correct, sir. The first differential was completely rebuilt incorrectly. It would have failed immediately. He actually came out, and I do have a string from our text messages stating that when I installed it, immediately I found issues with it. So it had to be completely rebuilt again. So
Okay,
that differential.
here's the problem though.
Sure.
This is what happens with all mechanic questions, right? Mechanics say, look, I don't really know what's wrong with this thing. I'm going to take my best percentage shot at fixing this thing, right? And if they fix it, great, it works. If that didn't fix the problem, they go for the next problem. But their work is not a guarantee. It's essentially what you're paying for is the hourly rate of their expertise. Because if I'm trying to fix your differential, I didn't even take the thing out of the box. What you're essentially crediting him with for the value of that engine is his time spent. So he spends, I'm assuming, what is completely an acceptable amount of time attempting to correct the first differential. And that may not have worked, that's neither here nor there, but then never had the opportunity to essentially work on a second one.
No.
So essentially, I think what you're saying is, because it didn't work out what he was supposed to do, now I want money for the thing that was my end of the deal, right?
Not in my view, sir, if I can explain.
Okay.
The differential was completely rebuilt. I brought him brand new parts for the entire differential to have that redone. I paid for all the parts, provided everything to him, delivered it to his home to be able to do that. So there was nothing wrong with the differential to start. It was all new parts to be able to do that. The problem was, and when you asked, I am a mechanic. I've been a mechanic for my whole life. That's not what I do for a living, but I do work on these things to be able to do that. I was in the process of rebuilding the Jeep after the other one was totaled, and it was brought to my attention Mr. DeVos needed the engine out of the other one. I thought, okay, I've got so much going on. I'll and be the good guy to be able to help him out. I get somebody else to do some work on the Jeep so I can get it on the road quicker.
Okay,
So
I'm
there's
with you
nothing
so far.
incorrect. I'm
And then
trying
he
to-
did do the work
Okay,
and
yeah,
it
I'm not-
just didn't work out. And then so you said, well, I'm not gonna give him the other half of the work to do because he didn't do that part right, correct?
Because the work was not done in a proper manner from that. It was not that something failed part-wise or something. It was that it was done incorrectly. The entire job was done incorrectly.
All right. I mean, and
so
you can
that-
keep putting things into your words, but what I'm saying is, what you said to yourself is, I'm not going to give him a second differential. He didn't do the first one right.
That is correct.
All right. So as far as the deal, you renegotiated the deal midway through.
I don't.
You
see-
delivered on your part, which was he takes the engine. And then halfway through what he was supposed to do for you, you said, I don't want you doing any more of this work because you didn't do it right so far.
Yes, he didn't do it correct, so wasn't going to provide the second differential to be able to do that. I've got too much money in the parts to be able to do that because it would have failed and been a catastrophic failure for that. And I would have
Sure,
gone
but you
$1,000.
understand that's a choice you made. He didn't renege on his end of the contract. You decided you didn't want to pursue the contract, right?
I don't see it that way. I see if somebody doesn't do it properly and there's no resolution, which I have the email trying to provide him with the opportunities to do that, do the correction on that he did not take that opportunity and finally gave me an ultimatum.
Okay, but listen to me. You didn't pay him in exchange for essentially the correctly done differentials. That's what your goal was. What you're exchanging for is his labor.
Okay.
50% of his labor he never got to do because you didn't want to pursue it. And 50% of his labor he did do, it just didn't achieve the goal you wanted. Right?
Okay, sure.
All right. So essentially, in order for your line of logic to be, hey, I need damages from him, you would have to show that what he did with those parts and differential was essentially not what the next mechanic would do.
Correct.
And I don't see how you're explaining that to me. You didn't bring
Oh, I'm
anything
sorry,
in from a third party.
Yeah, no, if I can get into the detail, if you'd like, as soon
Well,
as I
is that
install.
differential then since been rebuilt by another party?
Yes, sir.
Okay, who did you
Yes.
take that to?
It was another gentleman from our Jeep club, Craig Malauer. He is a.
All right, and what did he
mechanic.
charge you to rebuild it correctly?
He did not charge me because we are friends. He wanted to get it done.
All right, so let's reiterate. Now you have one successfully built differential
Yes, sir.
and another one that Mr. DeVos is supposed to work on, but you wouldn't even give it to him.
Correct. I didn't have any confidence in his ability to do it correctly.
All right, and so you chose that. I'm failing to understand why he's to pay you $5,200. It would either be because he wasn't qualified, he did the work wrong, he didn't do the work, or he kept a bunch of stuff he wasn't supposed to and is not offering to return it.
He did not do the work in a professional manner, and it would have failed. It was already in failure when I received it back from him to be able to do
Yeah,
that.
but see, that's the problem. You didn't take it to a shop where he is a certified insured mechanic, and if something went wrong, that's why he's certified and insured. You essentially did a third-party deal where what you're hoping for is I can get this rebuilt on the cheap by a guy who knows how to do it because I'm going to give him an engine I don't really want anyway.
No, sir, that is not the case. I'm sorry, I have to
Okay.
disagree with you tremendously on that. I was not even looking to get rid of that engine. I was contacted by Bryce because Mr. DeVos needed an engine quickly for that. So that was never the case. I did not approach anybody to do that. I did not try to do it on the cheap. I tried to do it so I would have some additional time and help someone out. That engine, I've got a quote from a company that's worth $3,200 for the engine. That's a pretty good price for
Sure.
having two differentials.
And had
built.
he
I mentioned the
rebuilt
price.
two differentials, 3,200 would be a pretty good price on his labor. That's
I
why
don't
this would have been a
understand,
great
sir.
deal if it had worked out, right?
But for him, not for me. No,
Okay.
the differential.
So you're telling me to
rebuilding
get the
was
two differentials rebuilt would have cost you less than 3,200.
1,500 is what it would have cost to take it to a shop to have them rebuilt.
Each.
No, total 1,500.
All
I
right.
supplied all the parts. That's why this deal was such a good deal for him. It was put to me very quickly. He needed this engine and stuff to be able to get on because it was a daily driver. I submitted going, all right, I know it's not a great deal for me at this point, but I like to help people. And to be able to do that is what I did. He took the engine. It was November 9th. First contact with John. I never had any word with him. He texted me on 12/18. So it was well over a month from when they took my Jeep. They loaded on it. Bryce came out, loaded on a trailer, took it away so they could do the engine immediately. My Jeep is still sitting at Bryce's shop. No one's even attempted to try and return that to me. So I'm the one that I was not trying to do that cheap. It was over half of what it would have been for me to get it done. I could have sold that engine for.
All right,
So
let me
my
ask,
thing was,
Mr. DeVos, let me ask you, have you rebuilt differentials before?
Yes, Your Honor.
What's the time it takes?
Generally, if I'm working under pressure, I can usually about a week or so. If I'm taking my time and doing it very diligently and trying to get everything within a very
What do we mean by hours? When you say a week, it doesn't really.
40 hours, Your Honor.
All right. What's your mechanic's wage?
Say again.
What's your mechanic's wage?
I'm
I'm trying to figure out how much, what the dollar amount of you expected your labor to be to do this.
Okay. I would say that my wage for my daytime job as being a certified mechanic is right around $33 an hour, Your Honor.
All right. So like 1,300 a differential. So $3,000 worth of differential work
Correct, Your Honor.
for an engine that you thought was worth about what?
I went off of the plaintiff's website that he suggested, where he's getting the $3,200 estimate engine for. I do have screenshots of multiple. The engine that he's referring to had 64,000 miles on it, Your Honor. And then that was $3,200. I was told.
So essentially what I said is the dollar amount worth of engine was going to be about the equivalency of work you would have had to put in.
Correct.
All right. And then you put the work in on one differential. Have you done that before?
Regeared axle?
I mean, let me just quite honestly ask you, did you feel like that differential you did work on, that you worked on it correctly and it would have worked?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Like when you turned it into him, it's not like you said, I hope this works. You were confident it was going to work?
I was very confident that I would have put it under my own Jeep.
All right. And then he told you what? Hey, that's no good. I'm not, you know.
Correct.
You didn't do a good job. I'm not even going to give you the other one.
He had texted me roughly 2 days later, saying, "Hey, it's leaking. It's not doing it properly." I spoke with him for a few text messages back and forth, basically, because I had to go to work later that night because at that time I was working third shift, and it was a Sunday, so I chose to drive out there, give him a hand, try and see what the problem was, and it ended up being an O-ring on the locker that had been scraped, and then we replaced that, and then at that time I had ordered him a replacement O-ring as well as a spare O-ring.
All right. And did you ever get to do that work?
Yes, I drove out there the same day. And then he happened to have an extra one from the rear differential locker.
Okay. And then he let you know at some point in time that even after that, it was just no good and the job was useless.
It was roughly 2 days after that, or I'm sorry, 3 days after that, that he had messaged me, basically saying that there needs to be compensation for this, that he doesn't believe in my capabilities, et cetera, et cetera. And that had given him an ultimatum to let me work on it as I see fit, because he kept nitpicking the whole time. And then, or he can come and pick up the engine, the transmission, and everything else. And he chose in.
Okay, wait. I want to be very clear here. So when he decided, when it was clear to you that he wasn't happy with the work on the first differential, you actually offered the engine back?
Yes.
What was his response to that?
He had agreed to that on February 22nd. He was supposed to come and pick it up February 23rd, and didn't hear from him, didn't get a text message, call, anything. I didn't hear from him until I received his letter, basically going back over everything for compensation.
Well, let me switch over to him because we've been talking a while. Mr. Krepis, was that your intention to essentially just negate the arrangement and go get your stuff back?
No, sir, if I may. With regard to the differential, John did come out to my shop and we did work on it. I found
okay, but what I'm really interested in this point is that essentially what he's saying is it was clear you weren't happy with the work on the one differential, and so he said, hey, do you want to just come and get your stuff back? And you said yes.
He wanted me to take it out of his Jeep in his driveway. He wanted me to dismantle his Jeep and take my engine out. I did not put it in. He also said he would be videotaping me doing so. So if any damage happened to his Jeep, he would want compensation for that. It was already installed in his Jeep. And I'm not sure if you understand, there's a tremendous amount of work. I don't have the equipment, to take out to his driveway to be able to remove that engine. That was
I agree with you. Mr. Krepis, what's the status of your second differential?
It's all been rebuilt. Jeep is on the road to be able to do that.
Who rebuilt that one?
I built it with Craig Mullauer. But if I may, there's some other things that I think Your Honor should know.
Did you pay him?
I did not. It's in trade for labor.
So, sir, you have no out-of-pocket damages.
I don't have out-of-pocket. I have an engine that's gone and a bunch of parts from my Jeep gone.
Yes, but that was in exchange for two differentials, which are now in working order because you found alternate ways to make that happen. Small claims is for your literal out-of-pocket damages. What is your out-of-pocket damages here?
It's not out of pocket on that. So.
Okay, but let me be clear. The only thing you can sue for in small claims is out-of-pocket damages.
Okay.
In other words, I want to be clear here. The deal is you wouldn't have an engine anymore, which you don't. And that you would have two working differentials, which you do. So really what we're missing here is that you have a missing transmission and an air induct system, but that's been offered for you to get that back, right?
And what about the engine? That the work was not done properly and subpar. He actually used a RTV, room temperature vulcanization, on a thing. He knew it wasn't going to work. He knew there was a problem and stuff, and he tried to hide it. So the work was not provided to be able to do that. I provided everything I could to be able to do it.
Sure, but now here's what you want, right? You want $5,200, which was more than the engine's worth anyway, and some money on top of that for parts that are being offered to return for you. And your two differentials that he was supposed to work on, you got somebody else to work on.
Yeah. What I'm looking for is So
Okay,
if I get the transmission and the air induction system back, and I was looking for $1,600 for the engine, half of what the list price was is what I proposed to Mr. DeVos from the start. After the differentials, the work wasn't done properly. So I tried to do it properly all the way through. And if he wants to remove the engine and provide it back to me with all those parts, that's fine. But I can't go
well,
to
here's
his
the
home and pull
problem.
them.
I would never find he owes you the engine back.
Okay,
He did the work,
okay.
and then you wouldn't
disagree,
let him do more work.
because he
Right?
did not do it properly to start.
Okay. The other thing too is, let me just tell you this. The first thing you're telling me is, I don't do this stuff, so I got a guy who does do this stuff. Now what you're telling me is I have a guy who did do it right, who's telling me the way he did it is all wrong.
No, sir. I know it was wrong. I am a mechanic. I do my own work. I understand it. It's not that I'm there. I'm an engineer, and stuff on that, and I was a mechanic for many years. I understand how it's done properly and how it's done improperly, and I understand when somebody's not doing it correctly. I have many thousands of dollars into those differentials. If they fail, I take that hit. I could not do that. There was no preload on bearings, but that's not going to convince your honor there's anything different for that. But I do know
No,
what I'm
sir,
talking about.
you would have, essentially what you were looking to do here is to sue someone in general civil, not in small claims. Like I said, with small claims, you're limited to, you can't even sue them for the time you spent driving to and from courthouse and, lost time because you didn't get to drive your Jeep. It's literally out of pocket damages, but you don't have any here.
Okay.
I couldn't find for you, even if I wanted to. And so it's essentially, my finding is essentially that this case, as it stands, would be dismissed. Now, because we did have a contested hearing, I want parties to understand they do have a right to appeal. To appeal, you must do two things. First is you must ask for that within 7 days of today's date. That window of opportunity closes. Secondly, you must do that in writing. So you must come in and ask for that. The appeal would go to general civil in front of the district court judges for a de novo review, but you'd be in the same bucket as you are for small claims, sir. It would be out of pocket damages. But
Okay.
other than that, do we understand our rights on appeal?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
All right, we're all set then. I'm going to go ahead and release parties.